Hey guys, this is a 36-inch Carroway spinner ceiling fan that I picked up over the weekend. This fan I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace where I've picked up a lot of my recent finds there, honestly. Um, and I've been on a really good streak of finding a lot of cool things, which I don't know what it is about this time of year. I guess people just want to replace their fans for the summer, maybe, but I'm not sure. All I know is it's been really good for me. And they've been pretty reasonably priced too. So this fan was another find, just like the rest of them, Marketplace. And this came from a house somewhere in, I think, Owings Mills, I believe. Um, and that was a surprise to me because I had never seen a Carroway in person or in Maryland. I had no idea we had these here in this part of at least in this part of the state, in this part of the country. Um, so yeah. Now I've been told that these were sold at Kmart, which would make sense as there is or was a Kmart in Owings Mills, I believe. At least there was one, I think, either in Owings Mills or Reisterstown, I can't remember. Because I went to it as when I was younger a few times. Um, but yeah, so I believe this one was bought at that Kmart, or wherever it was bought at that Kmart. But I've been told that these were also sold at like department stores like Montgomery Ward's or Ames. And I know there is an Ames not too far from there as well. Or at least was, because Ames is now out of business and the Ames that's there is abandoned. So the building is still there. And I know that the Northman spinner that's actually hanging up right next to this one, out of frame, was actually bought at that Ames. So, thought that was interesting. But anyway, this fan is model EF100. EF, I'm guessing, is for electric fan. Not sure what the 100 is. And apparently this motor was used for both 36-inch and 42-inch applications because it says 36 and 42 on it. So I'm guessing that's what that means. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I got the fan complete with everything except the mounting bracket, which is how I usually get these, unfortunately. So I just used the mounting bracket for one of my modern Emersons. Um, and it's brown finish, which I always thought in pictures looked more orange, but now that I'm seeing it in person, it's a lighter brown, so it's almost orange. It's like a very muddy orange. It's a cool color, I do like it. And it's got sort of the regular faux oak blades they actually have stencil on them. You can kind of see it. It's kind of hard to see because the stencil is pretty dark. Can't really see it that well. But it's the traditional generic design. Um, the motor on this one is, I think, cast aluminum. At least that's what I've been told, and that's what I read. Now, I also heard that that might not be the case, so I'm not sure, but until I'm proven wrong, I believe it's a cast aluminum motor. Um, and yeah, it does have a nose, it's 3-speed. It has the original pull chain extension. That little black ball that you see is the original extension that it came with when it was new in the box. And it's in overall really good condition. Cosmetically, it works on all 3 speeds. However, the bearings are a little noisy. It makes a little... When I got it, it made dry bearing noise. I shot some oil into it, and now it just makes wet bearing noise. But that's no big deal. So let's go ahead and start it up on high, I guess. So it spins really fast, actually. Which I guess I'm not surprised considering it has a pretty big motor, at least for this size of fan. And the blade pitch is fairly steep as well. And as a result, it moves a pretty good amount of air for a fan this size. This is definitely not disappointing in the air movement category. Like, this fan would surpass any modern 52-incher, I think. It does have a slight wobble, but that's probably because it's on the wrong mounting bracket. And I think my box needs to be tightened. Anyway, let's, so yeah, it doesn't make any dry bearing noise anymore. It's still got a slight bit of wet bearing noise, but other than that, it's silent. There's no motor hum. So let's turn it down to medium now. So there's your medium. Pretty fast medium, not surprising because of how small it is. Airflow is good for this speed. I'd say if I were to install this somewhere, this is probably the speed I'd keep it on because it's moving air. It does have I can hear a little bit of motor hum, but it's not, the bearings are louder than the motor actually. Alright, so that's medium. Let's turn it down to low now. And low speed is actually not terrible, or at least it's not terribly fast. I know most 36-inch fans have a pretty fast low speed, but this is actually pretty slow for a 36-incher. And besides that small amount of wet bearing noise, it's basically silent. And I can still feel some air from it. So this is definitely a well-performing fan. And I have to say I was a little bit surprised because I wasn't expecting much from this, but I actually really like it. I like how it looks, I like how it performs. It's definitely a keeper. So I'll turn it off now. And the reverse switch is on the other side. Alright. Start it up on low, and this time in reverse. I don't think I've tested it in reverse yet. I can't remember. I think I may have run it on low in reverse for a little while. Probably to get the bearings broken in. So there's your low speed in reverse. It looks like it's going about the same speed as it was in forward. I have to say the bearings sound a little bit quieter in reverse. Okay, let's put it up to medium. Oh, it has a little bit of motor whine. Or at least I heard it for a little bit. It had like a startup whine. So that's medium in reverse. Let's see what high gives us. It definitely has a startup whine in reverse. And I think I hear a bit of motor whine as well. Just run motor whine, I guess. Virtually no wobble in reverse either. Alright. I am feeling some air from all the way over here, being blown up and over. Alright, turn it off now. Okay. Let's get an up close of this little ceiling fan. So, like I said, there's your stencil blades. You can see the stencil a lot more clear now. When I got it, all four of the blades were loose because it's got those, since it's got like the flat blade arms, it's got the kind where like the blades go through, or the screws go through and are bolted, and they had all come loose. Regular sort of nose cap, or nose with this really flat nose cap and the original plug in it. And there's your pull chain extension. This ball at the end of it is actually, I noticed, is very similar to this one over here on this Evergo. And that's an original Evergo pull chain, so the only difference is the color. That one's like brown, this one's black, but they're basically the same. I just thought that was interesting. And this is original. So there's a motor. It's got this little indent right here, a characteristic of these. It's got a gold pinstripe on the side. And the top, it's got a generic ball and socket canopy with the ribs around the side, or the indents or whatever. Blade arms are quite generic as well. They're actually the same as my Northman, as you can see. On the top of the motor. What I thought was interesting is all the blades have letters. They have stickers. It says like A, B, C, and D. So it's A, if it would focus, A, B, C, and D. I thought that was pretty interesting. And the blade arms as well, so you can match the blades with the blade arms. And then there's the tag, which you can kind of see. It says Carroway fan, Carroway logo, model EF100, and then there's the 36 and 42 label, and it says, what did it say? It says it's rated for 0.55 amps, which is a pretty good current draw. Carroway Enterprises Limited, made in, what does it say? Made in People's Republic of China. Install blades at least 7 feet from floor. Okay. So, yeah, the motor isn't terribly thick, but it's heavy. It's definitely well made. And I like the little, like a smaller version of a regular collar for the downrod. So yeah, in very good condition. The finish is basically not, like, there's not a single scratch on this fan. The previous owner took good care of this fan. So that's about it for this video. So that is my vintage 36-inch Carroway spinner ceiling fan. Thank you for watching, and more to come.